If you've grown up in Australia, there are things you might only realise are amazing once you leave.
And because you're so used to it, it's just normal.
We're James and Josie, and we've been in Australia now for nearly 2 years, and there are just so many things about this place that feel so well set up.
So here are 10 things that Aussies might not think of as amazing. So number 1, coffee. Now, Australian coffee culture is serious. It tastes so much better. It's cheaper, I think.
Yeah, in some places.
And I also feel like baristas take it more seriously.
They just take more care with it, you know?
Yeah, they take a lot more care.
It's a passion, it's a craft here in Australia.
Yeah.
So when you get your coffee here from let's say a local coffee shop, not a chain, but the chains are still the same. It's not just, here's your coffee, see you later. It's, here's this lovely warm cup of love that I'm about to give to you. And that's how it feels, you know, the coffee is that good and it feels like they've really put an effort into it. Whereas back home, I don't know if it's because of the work culture where it's extremely rushed. So ultimately you're gonna rush the product, who knows? But somehow, some way, the coffee in Australia, that they've done something that nobody else could replicate, apart from Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, Vietnamese do good coffee too.
They do. So if you tried a coffee from the UK, Vietnam, and Australia, rank them below in the comments because we would go UK, Vietnam, Australia in that order.
Australia being the top, even though you said it last.
Exactly. Number 2, public amenities.
But let's just start with public toilets. There's so many of them. Yes. I never struggle to find one.
No.
Generally, they're clean. And also,
correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
I don't think I've ever seen a pay-to-pee barrier in a public toilet in Australia. Even in the UK, we have loads of them, actually.
We do, it's like 20p.
Yeah, you actually have to, it's like a turnstile to get to the toilet.
If you have, let us know where it is because we'll
avoid that at all costs. But generally speaking, public toilets, they're just everywhere. They're so convenient. Like, there's no struggling to find a toilet when you're out and about. Like, they're just everywhere.
Agreed.
And it's great.
Public toilets for the win, hey?
Love it. Thank you, Australia.
Next up, we have libraries. I just want to say that the libraries all over Australia have just been perfect. They've got the right atmosphere, they've got the right vibe, friendly, welcoming, and I think because Australia has a very nomadic lifestyle and culture,
they really
actually the community isn't just the people of the town where the library is located, but the community is everybody.
When it comes to public amenities, this is one thing I will never not talk about because I am obsessed. Free barbecues in parks and beaches. It is the vibe. Like, you can go with friends, have a lovely barbecue in the evening. It gets you outdoors. It gets you like socializing outdoors with friends, eating good food, cooking together.
What Australia is all about, to be honest.
Number 3, markets.
And we've recently just visited what might be one of our favorite ever markets. Adelaide Central Market.
This place is huge.
Massive.
Like it stretches all the way that way, all the way that way, all the way to the end, which is like double layered as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Crazy.
my gosh, there's so much here, so much choice.
When I go to markets, it's not about the products there for me, it's more about the overall atmosphere of the market.
Yeah, I feel you. And also, I think like there's loads of fresh produce at markets, which it makes, like, I think the availability of fresh produce in general in Australia makes eating healthy easier.
Yeah, much easier.
And it also, like, there's so much local craft at each market that you go to, so it makes supporting local really easy and really, it promotes it, which I really like that vibe.
You can really support the local community.
And I think Australia's nailed that, like, the whole Australian made thing around a lot of their products. I really like that.
And it just goes back to the previous point with libraries, like the community culture, let's say, in Australia is just, it's like something we've never experienced before.
Yeah, it's really nice. I love a local made thing.
Number 4, waterside cities. Now, Josie, take it away.
Okay, so this one may sound really niche and it might be a bit hard to explain, but there's just something about going for a walk along a waterfront in a major city that it just does something to your mood. And I can't quite put my finger on the word for the emotion. It's just so uplifting.
I would say so, motivating.
Yeah, it's so motivating, so uplifting. And it's just a real like niche thing, I think, with Australian cities.
And the thing with Australia is that the majority of their cities are actually on the coast. So all the coastal cities have a sort of, coastal walk. The best I can remember is the Sydney, was it the Coogee Beach Walk?
Yeah.
Along the cliff line?
Yeah.
That was a brilliant
But also the
walk.
Hermitage Foreshore Walk in Sydney. Do you
In
remember that
Sydney
one?
too,
That
yeah.
one was actually my favourite.
That was a really good
liked
one.
that.
When we found a little pool that people then told us there might be sharks
Oh yeah.
next to it. Anyway, that's
Bull sharks.
Yeah, whatever.
Fantastic. I think it's just that feeling of water, a city skyline, and a proper walkway. Like those three things mixed just creates the ultimate mood boosting vibe. So that brings us to number 5, shopping.
Now, shopping in Australia, I am not a big shopper. I am a big eater, but not a big shopper. And shopping now, let me just tell you, I tend to enjoy, and that is because I personally think shopping is a bit more budget friendly in Australia.
Way more budget friendly, in our opinion.
So there's 2 avenues we can go here, right? You've got shopping centres, which I find just to be so clean and love the majority of the time.
Yeah, they're really welcoming to shop,
lovely,
yeah.
and just, actually used. And an op shop I think we could benefit from back in the UK.
I know what you're gonna say. It's so good.
Savers.
Yeah.
It's a huge op shop, basically. And an op shop, if you don't know what that is, it's a charity shop. Savers, not Savers, surprisingly.
I don't think I'm wearing anything Savers right
But
now.
a lot of the stuff that I wear personally is from Savers because you can just find genuinely good quality clothes there.
It's actually kind of dangerous Savers as well because I literally walk in there for one thing.
Yeah.
I end up coming out with 15 tops and a bloody saucepan. Whilst we're on the topic of shopping, Sunday trading hours, especially at supermarkets, is a big one for us.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the same in all states, but I think what we found in the majority of states, supermarkets on a Sunday don't close at 4 p.m. Back home in the UK, if you want something on a Sunday, you've got to be after 3 p.m.
Yeah.
You're done.
You gotta fend for
You're
yourself.
done. In Australia, 8 p.m. most of the time, I
10
think.
p.m.
Yeah,
even.
even 10
Yeah.
p.m. in some places.
Which is good
shops are
for
still
me
open. Yeah.
because I'd like a late night snack.
We've actually noticed that 84% of you who regularly watch our videos aren't yet subscribed.
Subscribe to a damn channel. Anyway, back to the video.
This message is verified by James and Josie Travel.
On to number 6, public transport in metro areas.
When you're in the city, public transport is generally so easy, so cheap, so quick.
Yeah.
And the tap on, tap off, love it. Works so well. And also the free tram zone in Melbourne, game changer. I'm obsessed. How good
Yeah.
is that?
It is
You
amazing.
can get within the main crux of the city for free on a tram. Love
don't
that.
forget the
the cats.
the meows.
In Perth. The red cat, purple cat,
Yeah.
whatever other colour cat.
And
So good.
in Brisbane and Sydney, to my knowledge, and Perth, you have boats.
Yes.
Public
you
transport
do.
boats.
You do.
And I will never forget taking the ferry, the public transport ferry, for what, $2?
It was actually $1 some days.
$1
Yeah, in
from
Manly.
Manly to Sydney Harbour.
When we first arrived in Melbourne, I don't know if you remember this trip, we took a train from Melbourne to Bendigo.
Yep.
It cost us $11 each. That's £5, by the way, for all you Brits watching. £5. For example, I found out that a similar distance, what you'd be paying in the UK from London to Norwich, that's a similar distance to Melbourne to Bendigo. Same day ticket,
150Ks, by the way.
yeah, 150Ks. Same day ticket, £60. And staying on the transport theme, we have number 7, road rules and road safety.
Now, we've got a history with the road rules.
Yeah,
we really
we've got
have.
a bit of a dodgy past, let's say.
Yeah,
with
and
the
if
road
you've been
rules.
following us for a while, you'd know exactly what that is. We didn't park in the direction of the flow of traffic.
Yeah,
We
and-
parked the opposite way.
I think at first it really confused us because we were so thrown by it because we were like, this is the weirdest rule I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
But actually when you think about it, it makes so much sense.
It really does. And I think the majority of countries in the world have actually adopted this rule.
Yeah,
The
I
UK,
think the UK
is
are behind
just
on this.
a very slow follower in
But
this rule.
also, can I say, in defense of the UK, I actually think our streets are so narrow and congested that if you impose this rule, I think it would really make congestion awful because when you're in the UK, if you see a space, you've got to fight for it, and no matter where it is on the other side of the road or on your side of the road. And the next thing we actually don't have any of, because I think just because our car is actually not able to break this rule.
I don't think our car is capable of going over the speed limit, basically.
But yeah, speed limits in Australia, they do not mess around.
They don't.
They do not mess around.
But ultimately, why would they?
Yeah.
You know, it makes the road so much safer.
Yeah, and even a tiny bit over the speed limit, you get a hefty fine.
How would you know? But there is one thing about the roads in Australia that I still haven't quite got used to yet. So, for context, in the UK, on a motorway, it is illegal to undertake a car. So if you are driving in the middle lane out of the 3 lanes and you go to the left lane and around, illegal. But if you go right around the car,
Yeah, you can overtake.
that's okay. Whereas in Australia, the amount of times that, you know, we have been caught out by a car coming fast in the left lane when we've been trying to merge over is quite terrifying. Because in the UK, it is so uncommon to get someone undertake you. You should, but you don't really look there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we're just bad drivers. Who knows? I think we're just bad drivers. Moving on to number 8. Moving on to number 8. Okay, this one might be one of the most important and the most contributing factor to the culture in Australia,
I think
in my opinion.
No, I agree.
And that is work-life balance.
So in Australia, people here they just tend to have more time for life. And like after work, they have more time to go outdoors, hobbies, sport, anything that they want.
Just more
There's
time.
so much more free time, and the lifestyle just feels happier and healthier, honestly. Like so much happier and healthier. And I think a massive one is the sick day thing. Like it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, if you call in sick, or even for a mental health day, you're just treated as a human and not a machine.
Yeah, they
I
just
think-
treat you with respect, really.
The first time I saw this was, it was so funny. When we first got to Melbourne, my first job, I was really poorly, like a few weeks in.
Yes, you were, I remember.
Really poorly. And I had to call in sick because I'm a trooper, right? Like even if I've got the flu or cold, I will go to work. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll just get through the day.
There's no stopping Josie.
I would just steam on ahead. I literally could not lift myself off the bed.
Yeah.
I had to call in sick. The terror that I felt and like the anxiety I had picking up that phone and calling in sick. In previous experiences back home, you don't call in sick.
You just go to work, man. You crawl into that workplace and you get on with the day.
And I felt so anxious because I thought I'm going to be met with hostility. I'm going to be made to feel really guilty. This is going to be awful. They're going to hate me. They were like,
Oh my god, that's so fine. No worries. Like, please stay at home for as long as you need. You're the priority here. Your health is the priority. Rest up, stay in bed. Do not move a muscle. We don't need you. Don't worry about it. Like, it's so fine.
Let's say we haven't worked in the UK for over maybe
it's changed.
coming up to 3 years now. So look,
I just think
times
that
the world might have changed.
That whole sick day thing as well, just going back to it quickly, fosters a really good working environment because ultimately, like they've got a trick going on here. If you treat your employees like that and like as if they don't need anxiety to call in sick, they're gonna want to work harder for you. Number 9, healthcare.
And especially our experience with
Medicare. It's honestly been so impressive. Just the whole system blows my mind with how effective it is.
Yeah.
We can get appointments most of the time, can I say, on the same day with the GP.
I will add, this probably depends on where you are from in Australia and which clinic you go to, that sort of thing. There are variables, but the majority of the time, within a day or 2, you can get an appointment. And there's a thing that if you're from the UK, we have something called the Reciprocal Healthcare Agreement.
And it means we have an agreement with Australia and basically we get all the Medicare benefits, and we also get, like Aussies, if you go to hospital versus like a GP, obviously you pay for the GP.
Yeah.
If you go to the hospital, like A&E, whatever, it's free.
Fantastic.
But
just fantastic.
I also would like to point out though, don't get caught out. Ambulances are not free. And they are, if you don't have cover or insurance, I have heard, luckily we have never had to have an ambulance yet. They're really expensive if you don't have cover or insurance. So
watch out.
Check, it's all different from like depending on where you're from, your passport and everything. Just get covered and check the requirements from where you're from.
So number 10, politeness and friendliness. Now, I think we'll start with politeness. We see a lot of people say hello to us. A lot of people will smile at us. A lot of people wave at us, do they? Yes,
Yeah,
when
the
you're in the
outback.
car, yes. And a lot of people will thank public transport drivers and staff. And you know what, just the overall politeness culture in Australia, spot on.
Yeah, I think it makes like everyday things, like just even getting a coffee, it just makes it so much nicer and so much more enjoyable. Like it goes both ways though.
Yeah.
You get a lot of like, thanks, have a good day from, I don't know, your barista. And you say, thank you so much, have a good day. Like there's a real importance on appreciating, respecting and thanking your hospo
Yeah.
service.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but don't get us wrong. There are, in the UK, again, because I don't want to feel like we're just, throwing the UK under the bus. There are, on buses, people do thank bus drivers for starters, but there are friendly customer service staff. There are friendly people in the UK. I think it's just the culture. We are, a lot of people we know, and in our experience, very rushed, very stressed. It's not like, it's very dark and sometimes gloomy, and it can just go a different way in terms of like your mental health and that sort of thing, which can ultimately mean people have less time for niceties.
Yeah, I think just like the slowed down pace really does, like the way of life, the work-life balance, the slowed down pace of life.
Like every point we've mentioned now, it all works into this point here, friendliness. And now for this part of this point, we have maybe experienced a different side of friendliness in Australia from the community have here on YouTube. And what can we say? It feels like a little family. Like
it's so nice.
We get so much support. We feel like we can be ourselves in front of the camera. And if you go back to episode 1, we probably didn't look or come across like we were comfortable. I'm James. That is Josie. Well, you can say it yourself actually. Right. Now, I think I speak for both of us.
Yeah,
we
for
feel
sure.
so comfortable because of you guys and how welcoming you've been, how friendly you've been. And I think that's testament to
I think it's the
Australian
Aussie
people.
way.
Yeah.
Like the Aussie way is just like centered around politeness and friendliness, and that's just so lovely. And it's probably like you say, partly because people are just so happy.
Yeah.
Like life is good, people are happy.
Life
you know?
is good. I never want to leave, actually. And they say if they give you a nickname in Australia, you're accepted. And Josie has got hers, haven't you? Josie is widely called a quokka. The quokka. Because of these little cheeks here. She is a little quokka, and that smile as well. Look at that. That is, you want a selfie with it. Let me take a selfie. Look at this. Ready? Selfie with the quokka.
So there you have it. There are 10 things we think Aussies may not realise are actually amazing as two Brits.
And ultimately the things we appreciate most about the country of Australia and its people. And let us know in the comments what you guys appreciate most about Australia. So if you like that video, like the video.
And subscribe to the damn channel.
Because next up, we're on the Fleurieu Peninsula.
We are.
We'll see you there.